for this moment for years. Over 71,000 in the grandstand and thousands of others in the infield have come here today. It's just about time to go racing as 42 cars and drivers get set for 500 miles of competition. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, and this is kind of neat being part of an inaugural event.
Oh, man, this is so neat. This year I've seen 2 racetracks open up. It's great to be part of NASCAR and Winston Cup racing today.
You know, this track is like several others on the circuit, but the drivers will tell you it's really a track of its own.
Yeah, we keep comparing this racetrack to Michigan because they look exactly the same. The drivers keep saying it's not Michigan, drives completely different than Michigan. This is California Speedway.
And a young man who was born in the state of California is atop the point standings as we head for the 15th race of the 1997 season. That, of course, is Jeff Gordon. Strong recent performances by Mark Martin has moved him up to within 46 points of the lead. 7-time NASCAR champion Dale Earnhardt has quietly moved to 6th. The top 10 drivers separated by less than 500 points. All are chasing Gordon, who has been flexing his muscles.
Ten years ago, California native Jeff Gordon moved east to seek fame and fortune. He quickly captured both, becoming one of NASCAR's brightest stars. Today, this charismatic kid comes home, no longer chasing rainbows, but driving one, painted on his magical Monte Carlo.
Getting heavy in my Chevy, it's no slowing us down. Put the pedal to the metal, let it take us out of town. There's this great big world that we just got to see. Girl, walking with you.
It has been fireworks and fast cars since Flash Gordon left California a decade ago. Today, his Chevy is ready and poised to pounce from 3rd starting spot. It's his favorite race car, nicknamed Blacker. It's carried him to 11 wins over the last 3 years, and he hopes today will make it an even dozen.
41 races, no wins. This sport's most intimidating figure is fighting his most frightening opponent. This was to be a season of celebration, returning number 3 to number 1. But Daytona turned the season upside down.
Turn it up in the daytime, running down at night. How long does it take to break the spell? Straight to the top, to that nail, yeah.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is desperately seeking the magic that will break a chilling spell that has mystified the man in black. Yes, the 7-time champ has struggled this season and is starved for a win. But in recent races, he has shown flashes of his old form. In fact, no one has completed more laps in 1997 than Dale Earnhardt. 17 years ago, he won his first championship in the final race of the year, the track Ontario, California, just a few miles from where we're standing. Today, Dale Earnhardt hopes to be standing in victory lane.
Roush Racing, Martin, Musgrave, and Burton. Roush Racing, experience and youth. Mark Martin second in the points chase. Ted Musgrave led the most laps last week. Jeff Burton, the winner at Texas. This Roush trifecta, led by Mark Martin, is red hot. Juggernaut continues here in California. Jeff Burton starts 25th. Ted Musgrave 20th. This man leads them. That's Mark Martin, who starts in 12th position. His attitude, be quiet and be consistent.
Michael Waltrip has a classic line that he uses when traveling across the country. I'm the only guy that's won a race that hasn't won a race. The one he did win was the Winston All-Star event, beating the biggest names on one of the sport's brightest nights. He has not gotten a victory lane in a points race. He has 5 top 10s this season. He's looking for that first win, and he's hoping it comes in the first race at this track.
Colorado's Wally Dallenbach posts his best starting position in 4th spot today. His best finish, 15th at Sears Point, but that was a road course. This is a 2-mile speedway. Dallenbach looks to do better.
Ricky Craven missed all the magic at the new track at Texas when he was hurt in practice. He'd like to make up for that here in California. A strong start to the season with a 3rd-place finish at Daytona, then a 5th-place finish at the Rock. But since then, Ricky Craven's new team has struggled. This was supposed to be his magical season. He's hoping for a little magic near the Magic Kingdom today.
1997 has been both the best of times and the worst of times for Joe Nemechek, losing his brother, gaining a son, and now he scores his first career pole position here at the California Speedway. With a pole down, he wants to go to victory lane.
It was Rusty Wallace who won what many thought was NASCAR's swan song in Southern California, the final race in Riverside in 1988. While the track disappeared, Rusty did not, flashing that patented victory lane smile another 37 times, including this past March in Richmond. But soon the celebration ceased. A trip to the sand at Sonoma was just the beginning as Rusty and Team Penske started to search for a remedy. Charlotte offered no solutions. Loose lug nuts cost them a lap. Dover's disappointment came courtesy of the camshaft. Pocono's problem was a missing right side window. And last week at Michigan, pick your poison. Speeding on pit road produced a stop-and-go penalty. A wedge wrench was left in the rear window, and they even ran out of gas. A reflective Rusty now readies himself for today. His California dream that maybe this nightmare portion of his season is finally over. Nothing could remedy Rusty's rough ride through the spring of 1997 better than a win, and nothing would be sweeter than for that win to come here today at his car owner Roger Penske's newest speed palace, California Speedway.
It's a gorgeous day in Southern California as we await now the command to start engines and the beginning of the California 500 presented by Napa. There's the countdown to gentlemen start your engines.
I introduce to you Mr. Wayne Wells, Western Division Vice President of Napa.
On behalf of the over 6,200 Napa Auto Parts stores, it is my privilege to say, gentlemen, start your engines!
They have all come to California to accept the challenge of this brand new speedway. And in just minutes, the green flag will drop, and the 42 cars and drivers will seek to become the first winner of the California 500 presented by Napa.
Napa's Live and Large sweepstakes could bring you closer to NASCAR than you ever thought possible. We're giving away 10 big screen TVs and a 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GT, a replica of the official pace car from the competition.
December 7th, 1941, the day that will live in infamy. In the wake of the attack on Pearl Harbor, the U.S. was involved in World War II. Motorsports essentially shut down. Even tracks like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway were closed for racing and opened as airfields. Drivers joined the war effort. And even Detroit car makers shifted their emphasis from automobile production to tank, airplane, and other wartime equipment. On the West Coast, just east of Los Angeles, a steel mill was constructed within a year. A plant capable of producing enough steel for factories up and down the West Coast to launch a Liberty ship per day. After the armistice, the need for such a plant diminished. And by 1983, the factory was ready for demolition. What was once a proud employer in this area came tumbling down. Through the vision of Roger Penske and the guidance of Les Richter, the 529 acres on which the Kaiser Steel Mill once sat now has become a racetrack. and only the water tower survived the transition. Absolutely incredible that within 2 years, this facility has gone from dream to reality. And the water tower marks the exact center of this great facility in the infield. And there it is today. Now 142,800 pounds of steel in the form of 42 race cars are about to christen California Speedway. In today's field, there are 19 Fords, 15 Chevys, and 8 Pontiacs, and Ford leads the Manufacturers' Championship with 106 points, 10 more than Chevrolet. The Speedway is a 2-mile D-shaped oval. The front stretch is 3,100 feet, the back stretch 2,500. The corners are banked at 14 degrees. The front stretch 11 degrees, and the back stretch is banked at 3 degrees. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. On the pole with his first career NASCAR Winston Cup pole in his 105th event is Joe Nemechek. Last week's winner, Ernie Irvan, starts alongside. The current points leader, Jeff Gordon, starts third, and Wally Dallenbach fourth, his best career start. In the third row, Ken Schrader, who won the Winston West race yesterday, and Jeff Bodine. Row number 4, Jeff Green in his 5th NASCAR Winston Cup start in this car, and Darrell Waltrip, who has qualified 8th in 3 of the last 5 races. The 5th row, last week's pole winner at Michigan, Dale Jarrett, and Terry Labonte, hoping to get back on track after a 39th place finish at Michigan last week. The 6th row, Ricky Craven and Mark Martin, who won the IROC race here yesterday. The 7th row, Johnny Benson, who finished 10th at Michigan, and Dale Earnhardt, who's gone 41 races without a victory. The 8th row, Bobby Labonte, 8 top 10 finishes in '97, and Rusty Wallace, who won the last 2 races run in Southern California at Riverside. The 9th row, Bill Elliott, 2nd last week, and Michael Waltrip. Row number 10, Jimmy Spencer and Ted Musgrave, 6th and 4th in the last 2 races. In the 11th row, Jeremy Mayfield, just 13 points out of the top 10, and Lake Speed, his best finish at '97 was last week at Michigan, 11th.
Inside of row 12, Derek Coe finished 8th last week for his best finish of the season. Outside is Chad Little. Back in row 13, we find Jeff Burton, the winner in Texas for the inaugural race in Texas. Greg Sachs on the outside, faster than the pole sitter. This is the fastest car in qualifying. On the inside of row 14, Hutch Strickland, and the top leading rookie on the outside, Mike Skinner. Inside of row 15 is Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hamilton on the outside. Row 16, we find Morgan Shepherd, his first race in the 77 car, and Dave Marcus. Inside of row 17, Jerry Nadeau, his 2nd career start, alongside David Green. Row 18, John Andretti and Brett Bodine. In row 19, Rick Matt and Kyle Petty was the fastest car in practice yesterday afternoon. The provisionals, row 20, Ricky Rudd, Ward Burton. Row 21, Steve Grissom and Dick Trickle.
And 3 drivers came here but were unable to make the field for this event. Billy Standridge, also Mike Wallace, and Kenny Wallace misses his first race of 1997. Now let's take a look at the race analysis. This track is 2 miles in length, so we'll go 250 laps. We have no track record. We expect the fuel window to be between 45 and 50 laps, and the total posted awards here this afternoon, $2,032,805.
Take a look at the Napa in-car canner on board with Ted Musgrave. Also Michael Waltrip, the Sitco onboard camera. Bill Elliott carries the McDonald's onboard camera. Rusty Wallace, we ride with him, the Miller Lite camera. And Mark Martin on a roll in a Valvoline car. And Ricky Craven, the Bud 1. And Dale Jarrett, 2 victories in 1997. Here they come, Bob.
It's a beautiful Southern California afternoon as 42 NASCAR Winston Cup cars come off of corner number 4 and get the green flag, and the inaugural race at California Speedway is underway. Nemechek leads his first lap since Martinsville, the half-mile track earlier this year.
And it's obvious that 2 abreast is not a problem, and later on, we'll actually see 3 abreast in the corner, I'm convinced.
First 4 cars have broken away somewhat, and now a challenge for the lead as Wally Dallenbach goes to the inside of Joe Nemechek and passes him, entering turn number 3. Jeff Gordon tried to stick his nose under Nemechek, couldn't get the job done. Let's see if Wally Dallenbach will lead a lap.
He did. Gordon down to the inside with help, drafting help from Ernie Irvin. They will both bypass Joe Nemechek down in turn 1.
And that's the first NASCAR Winston Cup race that Wally Dallenbach has led since Watkins led in 1995.
To the 5th place car is Jeff Bodine on the left of your screen. Run in order. Top 10 cars.
Is moving up from his starting position.
Started 14th, currently in 9th spot. And here comes Jeff Green and Rusty Wallace.
Trying to get to the inside of Ricky Craven. But Craven battles back, and as you can see from Rusty Wallace's onboard camera, he couldn't get around Ricky Craven.
Right on the back bumper of that Chevrolet.
Wallace pulls out.
Dale Jarrett in the 88 car decided he was going to look on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Rusty said, no, let's don't make it 3 abreast. He moved down to block that move by Jarrett.
Johnny Benson is in the yellow car on the high side of the racetrack. Off of the 4th corner they come once again. Jarrett and Rusty Wallace to the inside, and Benson and Mark Martin to the outside.
We'll jump inside with Mark Martin. As Benson goes to the corner a little bit too hard. See, Benson got in the corner, had to drift up the racetrack. Now, back to the battle for the 6th spot. There goes Darrell Walker on the inside of Jeff Bodine. And the blue car, that's Terry Labonte, believe it or not, the Kellogg frosted plate car. And Dale Earnhardt, another spot.
What a move that Dale Earnhardt made to the inside of Jeff Bodine. Meanwhile, up front, we have 3 cars that have broken away from the field. Dallenbach still leads. Jeff Gordon is second, and Ernie Irvin runs 3rd. Jeff Gordon looks to the inside of Wally Dallenbach, but he cannot make a move. The drivers, perhaps at this point in the race, just being a little careful. It's going to be a long afternoon of racing, 500 miles, and nobody wants to make a foolish mistake this early. But a lot of passing is going on. Rusty Wallace still trying to get around Johnny Benson.
And right in front of them, Ricky Craven and Jeff Green. Green dove down in the corner, and Mark Martin tries to go on the outside. Moves Benson up the race. Up the track, and here we see Jeff Gordon going to the inside. Ernie Irvin says, hey, I think I'll try that as well now. Ernie Irvin moves to that 2nd spot.
An emotional victory last week at Michigan Speedway, the place where he suffered critical injuries. He said he has tears in his eyes the last couple of laps of that race.
Now Gordon's taking a look on the inside of Ernie Irvin, trying to take that 2nd spot away. He's got the position.
He's down to the inside, and indeed, Jeff Gordon takes back the 2nd position from Ernie Irvin. But at the front of the field, it is Wally Dallenbach who leads the inaugural California 500 presented by Napa. We'll be right back. This is how Jeff Gordon went into the lead while we were in break.
Just as we went to break, you saw Gordon come off the corner, down to the inside of Wally Dallenbach. This is turn 4 down the front stretch. Ernie Irvin comes along, helps him out with drafting. By the start-finish line, Jeff Gordon will lead that lap. And down at turn 1, Dallenbach gives way, lets Ernie and the 24 car go by.
And so that's the way they run at the moment. Gordon, Irvin, and Wally Dallenbach back to 3rd position. And 4th spot right now, as you can see, is Ken Schrader. Darrell Waltrip is running in 5th spot. Track is playing a rather major role here, isn't it, this weekend?
It sure looks like it is, because anytime the two cars hook up, it looks like they're able to pass that other car that doesn't have any help at will.
Now these two drivers have broken away a bit from the third and fourth place cars. Meanwhile, Joe Nemechek has dropped all the way back to 7th spot, and he's being chased by Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt, that 3 car, the Goodrich Chevrolet, started in 14th spot, working his way forward. Never seen Nemechek.
Dale Earnhardt doesn't lead very many categories this year in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, but he does lead in one. He has completed the most laps. 99.7% of the total laps run this year has been completed by Dale Earnhardt. Now we're on board with Mark Martin.
And we can see that Mark Martin closing up on this group of cars. Right now, Mark Martin awfully fast. Needs to get by these cars to get to the front. Watch as he comes right off the corner and just dives on Earnhardt and passes him with ease. Well, maybe it wasn't that easy.
Down the backstretch, they're pretty much side by side. Now as they enter turn number 3, Martin gets the position and Earnhardt drops lane behind him. Looking back from Martin's car onto Dale Earnhardt, picture breaking up just a little. Mark Martin has scored 8 top 5 finishes, including 2 wins in recent vintage. And there is Ricky Rudd, who has really struggled all weekend.
Boy, he has. I haven't seen Ricky Rudd struggle like this in years. Has never been able to find the combination here at the California Speedway.
He took his first provisional of the year to get into this field, and Bill Weber has more.
I'll tell you, Bob, it has been a fight for the Tide Bunch ever since they got here to California. Now, Ricky Rudd brought a low downforce car here, the car that they raced in Texas. They thought it was going to work out well for them, but they never really found it. They were awful in the first round of qualifying. Then in second round qualifying, Rudd tried to make up for it, a little driver error, and as you mentioned, he had to take his first provisional of the year. But last night in final practice, like magic, the car got better. And I talked to this crew as the cars rolled off the grid. They have the very first pit stall coming off of turn 4. And they told me I'm going to spend a lot of time down there today. They're very confident this car's going to race much better than it qualifies.
Mike Skinner going to the inside of Chad Little in turn number 3, and Ken Schrader is about to take third from Dallenbach.
Evidently, Schrader learned something a great deal yesterday afternoon. The Winston West 200-mile race yesterday afternoon. He had a sister car to this, won the race, and look how well he's running today.
I really thought that more drivers perhaps would participate in that race yesterday simply to gain some experience. Jack Arute has more.
Bob, that's exactly what this team did. Andy Petrie brought 2 cars, and the idea was to use it as a learning curve. Not only 200 miles yesterday, but the practice sessions. Remember, you're only given so many for each division, and they literally doubled up. According to Andy, what he learned for the car for today in yesterday's race is how to make the car work in the middle of the corner. The key to getting around quick here is to try and put the driver's side wheels right down on the white line. They say they found out a secret yesterday's race that they transferred to this car today.
That is exactly where he's running, with those left side wheels right on the white line through the corners. Now Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte begin to catch up to Wally Dallenbach. They're running in 5th and 6th position, as you can see on your scoring pylon. Yeah, the green rooster of Kellogg's Cornflakes is gone from Terry's car at the moment, replaced by Tony the Tiger. And Jeff Gordon is leading his 12th race. 1997, he now has led 97 of his 139 career starts. Jeff Gordon, the young man who was born in Northern California, actually much closer to Sonoma, California, and Sears Point Raceway. Now 3 wide racing here in the tri-oval.
Yeah, that's a real mess. Jerry Nadeau, the 1 car on the inside. Chad Little, the green car on the outside of the 97, wisely decided, look, let's don't go 3 abreast this early in the race. Let's get through this corner. We'll try this later on. And Nadeau passes both those cars to take over the 28th spot.
Now Rudd goes to the inside and takes the spot away from Jerry Nadeau, and Kyle Petty tries to come along, but is cut off in the corner.
Second race for the drive of the 1 car, Jerry Nadeau. This is Richard Jackson's car, the car that Morgan Shepherd started the season with.
And so the lead continues to be held by Jeff Gordon, Ernie Irvin running in second position, Ken Schrader third, Wally Dallenbach fourth, and Darrell Waltrip is in fifth position. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. California Speedway in Fontana, California, the NASCAR Winston Cup California 500 presented by Napa. And Jeff Gordon flexed his muscle and took the lead early in the race, getting around Wally Dallenbach on the inside right here at the start-finish line of the Tri-Oval. Ernie Irvin fell into second position. Jeff Gordon certainly has been on a great season so far as we approach the halfway point of this year. He leads in several categories, 6 wins, 11 top 5s, 11 races led, and 7 top 5s in the last 8 events. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch with more.
You know, Jeff Gordon likes to name his cars, and really it's an accident that they brought this car here nicknamed Blacker, as I told you, his favorite race car. The car they named Bob was totally destroyed in an accident last Saturday morning at Michigan Speedway, but this one, Blacker, well, it's Jeff's favorite car, and it may be one of their oldest, built in November of 1994. It won twice at Dover, twice at Darlington, and once at Pocono last year, and this year it has won at both Rockingham and Pocono. 11 wins in 3 years. It's really an intermediate track car, but right now he doesn't know it's on a super speedway.
With about a 3-car length advantage at the moment on Ernie Irvin. As we show you a field summary, the numbers in parentheses on the far right indicate the starting position for that particular driver.
Last time by Kenny Schrader, the third place car wasn't turned the fastest lap, faster than the first 2 cars, I should say. He was 179.3, and Jeff Gordon, the leader, 179.0. Rusty Wallace, Hut Strickland, Jimmy Spencer, Jerry Cope, and Bill Elliott. Those guys have been racing since the drop of the green flag and continue to do so.
There's Gary Cope in number 36. Elliott is in 94. Greg Sachs, who is the fastest overall qualifier, way back in 35th position. Bobby Hamilton is in the last position at the moment after having started in 30th spot. We look back from Michael Waltrip's car to Jeff Burton, who looks to the inside.
That's a battle for the 21st spot. Jeff Burton, the 99 car, inside car, crashed hard with Jeff Gordon last Saturday morning at the Michigan Speedway. And we've got a crash car in the wall. It's by Hut Strickland. That's back to the pit. Left side is flattened out on the Circuit City car.
Hut Strickland had made a big move in the field. He had picked up 11 spots, was running in 24th, up in the teens, but now the car is heavily damaged, having struck the wall in corner number 4. The car has slid to the inside of the racetrack. So Hut Strickland has the distinction of bringing out the first caution flag in a NASCAR Winston Cup event in California.
And thank goodness we see that window net coming down.
That's the indication that the driver is okay. And here's how it happened. Already in the wall when our cameras caught it up in turn 4.
And all the cars going by here, cars going on the outside.
Sometimes when you get up above that dark area there on the turn, which is the groove, it's pretty sandy up there, and it has what we call marbles in racing, and it just doesn't make very good traction.
No, down the hill he comes, and comes to a stop. And we see Hut now starting to get out of the car. The rescue workers run over, make sure he's okay.
So we should now be seeing pit stops with 30 laps completed.
And a lot of these guys are really looking forward to these pit stops. The cars would run long enough, we'd run 30 laps. The tires had gotten hot. They want to go ahead and make some adjustments because a lot of cars are not right currently.
The average speed for the first 30 laps was 178.217 miles an hour, but now that momentum has been slowed down because of the pit stops. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, Jeff Gordon leads the parade down pit road here at California. Wally Dallenbach will be the first guy to hit his mark. Here comes the first Union Monte Carlo. Swings it into the pit stall. Through dodges Darrell Waltrip. We're expecting a change. He has 2 tires here. They think that could be a key. We go around to the right side. Wally getting plenty of fuel. So it's 2 tires for Dallenbach to Jerry Punch.
All right, triple splits down here. Ernie Irvin, Jeff Gordon pitting as they nose to tail. And Kenny Schrader on the bottom. Right side tires now being completed on the top 2. Schrader down 11 seconds. Only right side tire change for Schrader. Irvin 18.5 and Gordon 20.2. They made an adjustment on Jeff Gordon's car. Some tape on the front to try to make the adjustment. Let's take it with Jack.
Jerry, Rusty Wallace and Ken learned how to complete their rounds. Both guys were trying to take a little bit of push out of the car, so they adjusted air pressure only by only 1 pound.
And that was the problem that the drivers complained about yesterday in the happy hour, was the fact that their cars were pushing.
We see that car with the hood up. That is Bill Elliott on pit road with the hood up.
And another car with the hood up, but that's because of the crash. Jack?
Well, what they're saying, guys, is Bill feels like the car may have lost a cylinder. It's not running like it should. The temperatures look good, so what they were doing was working on the carburetor because they felt maybe that was where the area was. If the temperature showed right, then maybe they hadn't lost a cylinder. They're going to probably bring him back in to continue the work.
Second place finisher at Michigan last week, Bill Elliott, hoping the car runs a little bit better. And there is Hut Strickland, who is out of his crash car, walking around and appears to be in good shape. But it also appears that perhaps his day is over. He'll have to ride to the infield care center for the mandatory checkup. We'll take another break and be back with more of our live coverage from the California Speedway.
Your wait is over. It's big. It's fast. It's here. California Speedway. Now racing has a new home. Where will you be when a new era dawns and racing history is made? California Speedway. Racing's future starts here.
Napa, sponsor of NASCAR Truck Series champion Ron Hornaday, really knows how to put parts in a test. And now, Napa has the battery tough enough to be called.
Another off-speed pitch. Boy, and that has to have great arm speed, that changeup. Cecil swinging like it's going to be a fastball. It just never gets there.
Never gets there and stays on the outside part of the plate. And look at that break at the end.
1-2. Got him. So after the shaky 5th inning, Anderson leads off the Tiger. The
1997 Miller Lite stock car. Sure beats other sedans. The new Miller Lite Indy car. No radio, no heat, but hey, look at that handling. And if it's acceleration you're after, take a look at the Miller Lite Top Fuel Dragster. It leaves everything else at the light. Every Miller Lite car comes with our 16-second roadside assistance plan. We say, shoot, shop, and compare.
There are hundreds of lawnmowers to choose from, with a broad range of quality features designed to meet your needs. But the ones that have the edge to do the job right have one feature in common: a powerful, high-performance Briggs & Stratton engine. Make sure your lawnmower is powered by Briggs & Stratton, the power in power equipment.
Hello, Pizza Hut. How much is one of your new pizzas?
$8.99.
I want pepperoni. With pepperoni.
$8.99.
Sausage. Pepperoni and sausage.
$8.99.
Peppers. Pepperoni sausage. And peppers.
$8.99.
Mushroom.
$8.99.
$8.99.
Mushrooms, that's $8.99.
Now you can get one of our totally new medium pizzas for just $8.99. Topped any way you want.
How much for a second?
Just $5.
Any medium, $8.99. Second one, $5 more.
ABC Sunday. Forget all those other rip-off video shows. We've got the real thing. America's Funniest Videos with Bob Saget. ABC Sunday.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Fontana, California, where the work continues on Bill Elliott's McDonald's machine. Believe it or not, in less than 2 minutes, they've changed carburetors. They had to take the air cleaner off. They pulled the faulty carburetor off, and he is back out. And here is the offending mechanical part. This is the carburetor that Mike Beam and the team took off the car, but he did go 1 lap down, Bob Jenkins.
And Bill Elliott drops to the back of the field for the restart, which is coming up momentarily. The field moving through turns number 3 and 4. Pace car off. At the front of the field is Ken Schrader. The top 4 cars only took 2 tires on that set of pit stops. And everybody else took 4. So the restart comes on lap number 35. And immediately Ernie Irvan goes to the inside of Jeff Bodine.
Kyle Petty goes to the corner there on the inside of Dale Jarrett. Kyle Petty, the 44 car, was running 32nd when the caution flag came out. He changed 2 tires, moved to 12th spot.
And we take a look at how everybody else did. Jeff Gordon came in the lead and comes out in 6th position. Irvan picked up, lost 3. Schrader picked up 2. Darrell Waltrip in 5th, out 14th. And Jeff Bodine also picked up several spots on the pit stops. Jeff Gordon now moves to the inside of Wally Dallenbach as they approach turn number 1, but falls in behind.
You talk about drafting. Look how that was a clear example. The 2 cars running together. Dallenbach and Ernie Irvan faster than Jeff Gordon. He had to simply tug back in behind those 2 cars.
Mark Martin has moved to 2nd position. He chases down Ken Schrader, and Jerry Punch has a report.
Ernie Irvan's car to try to keep the car from pushing in turn 2. They made a right front air pressure adjustment, but the adjustment that Ernie wanted them to make was to the cool suit. The cooler air conditioning uniform he is wearing has quit working, and also the airflow to his helmet has stopped. So Ernie is going to have to suffer for a while in this heat until they get another pit stop and can rig a vent to get air in the window. Right now, though, he isn't minding too much.
We also understand that the 31 car of Mike Skinner is having problems. Maybe dropped a cylinder.
Looks like there's no cars around him, so obviously very, very slow on the track.
But a lot of action in the middle part of the pack as Kyle Petty. There is the 17 car of Darrell Waltrip, and Perry Labonte moves inside.
Right across the white line to the apron of the racetrack went Labonte. I'm told that the 31 car has a flat tire. Mike Skinner.
And again, is Jeff Gordon making a move on Ernie Irvan.
Trying his best to get alongside Ernie. He will. He'll take the spot away. So let's put Jeff Gordon in the 3rd spot.
Strong car for Jeff Gordon again here today.
To the 23 car, Jimmy Spencer also changed 2 tires.
Let's go to Bill Weber as Mike Skinner comes in.
They believe it's an equalized right front tire on the Lowe's Home Improvement Monte Carlo. So Skinner has brought it here. They'll change the right side tires, top out the fuel tank. And now they're going to make a 4-tire stop, so apparently they weren't sure. Now the battle for second. Jeff Gordon fights his way around Mark Martin. Ernie Irvan's going to tag along for the ride, while Skinner sits on pit road for a long 4-tire change.
Oh, and Mark Martin went from the outside to the inside in one move and was very close to Ernie Irvan, who was running in front of him. While all of this is going on, Benny, we've seen some more passing back here. Again, we see the drafting playing a part because Ken Schrader's been able to move ahead while the others battle for position.
And that was the Earnhardt on the inside of Ted Mustang as Jeff Bodine loses position. Only changed 2 tires that last stop. There goes Terry Labonte by. And Mustang almost makes contact off the corner.
Racetrack is 75 feet wide, and many drivers are using every inch of it out there, battling for position.
And we see Skinner back on the racetrack. Oh, good thing he stayed on the apron, did not let that car drift back on the racetrack. We would have some problems. I think these guys like this California Speedway, the way they're racing. They love this Speedway.
It is a racy little place, no doubt about that. Now, Jeff Gordon has caught up to Ken Schrader. and maybe making a bid for the lead once again. Through the tri-oval here in front of the 71,000-plus seats in the main grandstand. No effort to take the lead at the moment.
That last lap he was 1 mile per hour faster than Kenny Schrader. Here he looks on the inside. Gordon down the backstretch.
As you watch Jeff Gordon trying to make his move. Now, during their pit stop, they wanted to put a piece of tape on the front grille of Gordon's car. And now Gordon dives to the bottom of the racetrack. Ernie Irvan follows him on the inside. And now Martin will make it three as 3 cars shuffle by Kenny Schrader. Now back to Jeff Gordon. They wanted to put a piece of tape on the front grille of Gordon's car for 2 reasons, Vinny. They wanted to loosen the car up, but also the water temperature is only running about 165 degrees. But when he left pit road, the tape fell off.
The cars, for these engines to operate at maximum performance, they need to run about 190 degrees. And how they control the temperature is, like Jerry Punch talked about, tape on the grill.
So Jeff Gordon now begins to move away a little bit from Ernie Irvan. And since we had the restart from the caution, Jeff Gordon has moved from 5th position on lap number 35, and on lap number 40 has the lead once again in the California 500 presented by Napa. We're 42 laps into the race right now, and we'll be back in a moment with more. Stay with us.
The Pepsi Stuff catalog is back, and you won't believe what's inside.
I've told you 1,000 times, no playing with professional athletes in the house.
Mom, this year's Pepsi Stuff is the coolest collection ever. You can even win a chance to hang with your favorite sports star.
You role models should really know better.
Drink a lot of Pepsi, get a lot of stuff.
Hey, let's go to my house.
I'll drive. I get my license next month. When I was a kid, I figured that there was no way that thing was going to be around when I turned 16. I wanted it to die so bad. It broke down a couple times, and I was like, yes! But Dad would go to Napa, get whatever 1970s parts he needed, and boom, that leisure suit on wheels would be back on the road again. He made me a deal last week.
Get straight A's, and you can drive your mom's car.
Thanks, Napa. Somebody make it stop.
Keep your classic clean inside and out with Napa Silver oil filters, as low as $1.99.
Here are some strong reasons to bring your family to Econo Lodge this summer. That's your cue, Hercules. First, kids stay free. And the second powerful reason, kids get free toys and a play scene from Disney's Hercules, the family film of the summer, in theaters soon. Now that's strong. Call 1-800-55-ECONO for Econo Lodge, where kids stay free.
They said their beer tastes better. They lied.
And how does that make you feel?
Used, manipulated, betrayed.
And how does that make you feel?
Used, manipulated, betrayed.
So now what?
Only drink fresh beer. Budweiser.
You have made a real breakthrough. You did it on your own. Born on dating from Budweiser. What fresh beer tastes like.
You're on the road to freshness. Hold all my calls.
ABC Sports very happy to bring you the inaugural running of the California 500 at the California Speedway in Fontana, where Jeff Gordon is the leader at the end of 45 laps. Ernie Irvan second, then Mark Martin is in 3rd position, followed by Ken Schrader and Jimmy Spencer. But Dale Earnhardt has been making moves lately. He's up to 11.
Up to 11th spot. He's been trying to get by Nemechek, our pole sitter, for a long, long time. The blue, red, and white car, that is Joe Nemechek, our pole sitter here this afternoon for this car. And Bob, we always talk about races run at night, how the weather changed. We go from a warm day into the cool night. Today is reversed, starting at 11 o'clock California time. When we started this race, it was very, very cool. As the day progresses, as it warms up, the drivers are going to have their hands full trying to keep the chassis, and the crews have their hands full trying to keep these chassis dialed in. Here comes Mark Martin by Irving for second spot.
As a Napa field summary, we'll show you where everybody is running. And we mentioned earlier also that Greg Sachs was the fastest qualifier. Actually, there were 4 second-day qualifiers who were faster than Joe Nemechek. And again, that related to weather because first-round qualifying was held in the afternoon when the track was hot and slick, and the second-round qualifying was held in the morning when it was cooler. There is Jimmy Spencer, who has moved up well from his starting position, and right behind him is Terry Labonte. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Dale Jarrett.
And he is on the move. And you're right, Labonte's car and Dale Jarrett's car look awfully similar since he has the Tiger on the hood, but Dale Jarrett is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now.
That's 4th, 5th, and 6th. Spencer 5th. Uh-oh, and this is not good news for Bill Elliott.
Left rear tire is flat. We see where some damage is torn up the quarter panel on the left side.
Well, the thrill of almost victory last weekend at Michigan for Bill Elliott. Now he's experiencing the defeat here this weekend as a couple of problems have beset him in the early going. He's making his way toward the pit, though, with that flat left rear tire. And Jack Arute, he is headed toward you.
It seems as if after such a great run to the runner-up spot now, Bill Elliott has got a left rear tire that's gone down. Remember, he already lost the lap when he lost his carburetor and had to make the change. The crew is waiting. He is limping down. And you know, guys, the biggest problem is when you have a tire go flat, he's literally lost the brakes on the back of the car. He couldn't even stop in his pit stall. We were just going to mention that. He just slid right through. That probably accounts for why he was so slow coming down to well below the speed limit. They're going to have to push him back to the box. It's going to be a long stay for Bill Elliott on pit road.
To work on the car.
Now they're going to check and see exactly what's wrong. I guess that the left rear tire blew knocked one of the hoses, brake hoses, off the left rear. They'll probably have to repair that before you go back out. And you know, Bill Elliott had a brake problem in the last 2 or 3 races. Remember, he stopped on pit road, had to change a brake caliper and rotor.
On Elliott's car, we go back to the racetrack to see what's happening, and Jeff Gordon has lengthened his lead over. Now second place, Mark Martin.
That time by, though, the 88 car, Dale Jarrett, ran the fastest lap of the first 6 cars. He was faster than Gordon or Mark Martin.
Car driven by Jeff Bodine has fallen back to 24th position. Remember, he was up in the top 5 when we restarted after the caution, but he has dropped back. Jack Arute, what's the problem with Jeff?
Well, here's the deal with Jeff. Remember now, Bodine came in, as many other guys did, and decided that they would only go for right side tires. He changed those right sides, and now the left sides are beginning to give up. His crew chief and Jeff agree they should have changed all 4, so they're backing up. They need a caution. Now let me show you on Bill Elliott's tire. We were talking about, Benny, how they can cut the brake lines. Look at the rubber on the outer liner of the double-line tire. That stuff is burning around and around and around. It may be soft here, but when you get up about 60 or 70 miles an hour, it cuts just like a knife.
And that is what they're trying to repair now on the Bill Elliott car as he sits helplessly on pit road while the race continues. We're up past the 50-lap mark already.
Time by, Dale Jarrett ran over 180 miles per hour. The first time today I've seen car run that speed. And here they come. There's Greg Sachs, the Coors Light car. That is the car that ran the fastest time in qualifying. He did start 26th.
Robbie Gordon, the regular driver of that car, was trying to come back here this weekend from burns suffered in the Indianapolis 500. And crashed on Friday, and so Greg Sachs has taken over this car for the next few races.
Bobby Labonte, the 18 car, took a look. Back to the lead, we see that Mark Martin continues to run just a little bit faster than Jeff Gordon. He's gaining on Jeff Gordon.
The interval is 82 hundredths of a second, or that much. The 28 car of Ernie Irvin is about 2.3 seconds behind. Mark Martin. We timed the interval between Mark and Jeff, 5 laps, lap 51 through 54. And the interval stayed about the same for the first 3 laps, and then Jeff began to cut into it.
Mark continues to cut into it, and you can see he's getting closer and closer. And those 3 cars right behind him, the very end of that is, in the middle of that is Dale Jarrett. The end of it, I should say, Dale Jarrett. And I think once he gets rid by these 2 cars, he will be as fast as Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon.
Jerry Punch has more on Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett did not bring the car that finished 6th at Michigan last week, but what he did bring here is the engine that won the race in Ernie Irvin's car. Now, Doug Yates, who runs the engine program for his dad, Robert, said this is the motor they've been alternating back and forth. He said DJ Dale Jarrett ran this engine at Pocono and finished 3rd. They put it in Ernie's car last week at Michigan. He won the race. It goes back to DJ today, and DJ is making a move and showing a lot of muscle with this motor that's already won 1 week ago.
Schrader and Irvin are having quite a battle, too, just ahead of Dale Jarrett. Schrader moves ahead as they come off the corner, and now we'll see if Dale Jarrett can also move around Ernie.
We can see that he's drafting along with Schrader. He will go by Ernie Irvin, move him up to 4th spot.
Now let's check an AutoZone on-track interval relating to the leader of the race, Jeff Gordon, and 5th place, Dale Jarrett, laps 52 to 55. Jeff Gordon pretty consistent with laps of 40.1 and 40.2, but Dale Jarrett had the best lap of that, 39.9, and has flipped the interval by a half second.
And with 39.9, that's just a little over 180 miles per hour.
And since the restart, Dale Jarrett has moved from 13th position up to 4th.
As he tries to go by Schrader on the outside.
He got a run off the corner and tried to move to the outside, but Schrader held off the advance. These turns are banked at 14 degrees for an 11 degrees of banking right here in the tri-oval. But into the corner, the banking is at 14 degrees right here, and it looks like it's completely flat at these speeds. And they reach pretty close to 200 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways, don't they?
Yes, they do. Around 201, 202, going in turn 1 with the California Speedway. Jarrett takes that high line into the corner. And then we can see how far they've got to go to catch the leaders, Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin.
So Jeff Gordon continues to lead. Mark Martin running in 2nd position, then Schrader, Jarrett, and Ernie Irvin. We'll be back after these messages and a word from our ABC station.
Napa's Living Large sweepstakes could bring you closer to NASCAR than you ever thought possible. We're giving away 10 big screen TVs and a 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GT, a replica of the official pace car from this year's California 500 presented by Napa. Enter at participating Napa Auto Parts stores and watch the first ever California 500 presented by Napa on June 22nd. Soon you could be living large.
All about.
This NASCAR season, something new is taking over the track, the whole track. Introducing the Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac, chosen the official pace car of NASCAR and the Daytona 500. It wheels us at wide to connect all of its power to the road for better control on any track. The Wide Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. It's official now. Wider is better.
Sunday, the hospital sent her home with the wrong baby.
How the hell did this happen?
Whose child did she raise?
I couldn't love anybody more than I love him.
Now, a mother's desperate search
You've got a brother out there somewhere, and we're going to find him and make sure he's okay.
uncovers a shocking secret.
There's something wrong. I can feel it.
And a devastating choice no mother should have to face. Lisa Hartman Black, Bruce Davison, and Louise Fletcher.
How can I just walk away? He's my child.
In a gripping story inspired by actual events, someone else's child. ABC Sunday.
After reviewing this divorce case, it's the court's decision that the wife receive the car.
I don't want it.
No, you can have it.
No, it's yours.
Didn't you hear the man? He said it's your car.
Just forget it.
No, don't give me that.
Order.
No.
Order. Your Honor, you should see this.
Uh-oh. Better get Mako.
Don't split up over your car. See Mako for a free estimate, nationwide warranty, and ambassador paint service for $189.95. Use good judgment. Say, uh-oh, better get Mako.
It's time again for the Oscar Mayer Talent Search. The Wienermobile is back, so come and audition. Oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. It's your chance to win a visit from the Wienermobile and to be in an Oscar Mayer TV commercial. Everyone would be in love with me. So have your mom or dad call 1-800-OSCAR-KIDS for details. Thank you!
The Chopper 6 Gyro Cam, only on Action News.
Jeff Gordon continues to lead Mark Martin as you rejoin us with 63 laps completed in the California 500 presented by Napa. And on Saturday, August 2nd here on ABC Sports, that will be our next NASCAR Winston Cup telecast, and it will be one of the premier events in stock car racing, the Brickyard 400. From the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where, of course, the defending champion is Dale Jarrett, and where the first inaugural champion was Jeff Gordon. So there are the first two. Here comes third place Ken Schrader, fourth place Dale Jarrett, and fifth Ernie Irvin. Moments ago, we noticed this from Schrader.
Watch this as Schrader comes off the corner in front of Dale Jarrett. And watch for the puff there. You see that puff of smoke, folks? That could possibly be a broken valve spring.
Now, how would you know that?
Well, because that's what happened to the three-car Steve Park when we did the Nazareth Bush race. We saw that one puff of smoke, and later on, that's what it proved to be, a broken valve spring.
All right, but Dale Jarrett moved up quickly, went as far as fourth, and has not been able to get around the third-place car of Schrader.
Here's the problem. These race cars, when they watch Jarrett, goes in the corner right behind the 33 car of Kenny Schrader. When they get up right there, the draft on that other car blocks the air so the 88 car doesn't get the wind on the nose of the car that he needs to plant that nose. He turns the wheel, and the car pushes across the racetrack. You can catch these cars easily, but it's so difficult to turn the car when you don't have the air to plant the nose on it.
And Jerry is with Andy Petrie of the 31 team. 33 team, sorry.
Bob, let's see if we can solve some of the mystery on the smoke from Kenny Schrader's. Andy, your car, a puff of smoke, why?
Well, I don't know what it is about our engine combination. For some reason, they do that. There's no explanation. They just smoke like that, just puff of smoke. Every now and then, I've been telling our engine builder about it every week. They can't find anything, but this time they got to see it firsthand back home, so now his heart feels like mine does every time it does that.
But all it does is puff and keep right on churning, huh?
Yeah, it does that a lot. I hope that's all it is, but that's been what it's been doing the last few weeks. Actually, all year it's been doing that.
All right, a harmless puff of smoke is all they say it is.
Well, the car is certainly continuing to run well, and here, as Benny would explain, is a mess.
That is a genuine mess. As the 40 car of Sachs dove on the outside, past Nadu, past Morgan Shepard, the 77 car. That is David Green. As he joins the group, Brett Lines in there. There's Brett, the black car, number 11.
And another Napa Field summary will show you where everybody is running at the moment. And we will also report to you that Hut Strickland has been released from the infield medical center. He has minor abrasions, but otherwise is okay. And we're glad to report that after Hut had a hard wall contact up in turn number 4. Ricky Rudd now beginning to make a move. He is up to 13th position, right behind our pole sitter, Joe Nemechek.
Tell you what, that's pretty impressive to start where he did back in the 40th spot and up to 13th. He had a great pit stop, which enabled him to get some of those positions, but he's been able to maintain. We saw Jeff Gordon, they moved the pits, but only changing 2 tires, he was not able to maintain that position.
Riding with Rusty Wallace now as he goes to the high side of Jeff Burton, or trying to.
See, by moving out there, Russ is able to get some air on the nose of the car and hopes to plant it and pass these guys on the outside. Once again, as he tries outside that high line. See, he's getting some air back there. And Mark Martin going taking a look for the lead. Not able to make it.
And here's Jeff Burton inside of Ricky Rudd now. Rusty Wallace will fall in behind Jeff and try to pick up a position. Going to move the 99 car of Burton up to 13th spot.
Here comes Ricky Rudd back on the outside. He's got the momentum. Looks like he's going to maintain in front of Rusty Wallace. Yes, he does.
An amazing statistic regarding Ricky Rudd. He has been in the top 10 in points since the Rockingham race back in 1995. Wow.
And those cars look like they're going by that speed shot at 50, 60 miles per hour. Trust me, folks, that's 180 to 190 miles per hour. Once again, Rusty trying that high line, the outside line. Good work. And Mark Martin, once again, here he comes, taking a look on the inside.
Making a serious bid for the lead this time. They're side by side at the start finish line, and they race down into turn one, and Martin gets the lead. Down to Jackaroo.
Well, guys, what you just saw there is Jeff Gordon tries to look to the inside of Mark Martin. It's a direct combination between two cars. The car on the outside, Mark Martin's car, is slightly loose. But the man on the inside, his car's got a slight push to it. It's tight. So take a look. Decide, which would you rather have here in California? A tight car or a loose car? First and second, they traded back and forth, Jerry.
And Jeff Gordon, remember, changed 4 tires. Mark Martin changed only 2 tires. But now the conversation is this. Gordon saying to Ray Evernham is crucial. You know, Martin may have had the right ticket because we have a push, meaning you can't turn the car. If you only change right side tires, then the left side tire is being worn, make the car free up a little bit and make it faster. But that didn't help Mark Martin a moment ago as Gordon just scooted right on back by.
And we see the speeds there. Those 2 cars the last time running side. We keep talking about what he does when cars run side by side. Normally they're running 180 miles per hour. The last lap side by side they slow down to 175 miles per hour.
You can see the fastest lap of that particular lap was turned in by Terry Labonte at almost 180 miles an hour. Well, Roush Racing drivers are doing pretty good. Martin started 12th, is now 2nd. Musgrave from 20th to 11th, and Jeff Burton from 25th to 12th.
Now we see Bobby Hamilton, the STV car, in danger of going a lap down.
Right now he's in 39th position. We have Mike Skinner and Bill Elliott, 2 cars that are not on the lead lap that are still out there. Well, we told you at the beginning of the broadcast to be on the lookout for the Roush team because they are red hot. The 3 drivers that make up this team, owned by Jack Roush from Livonia, Michigan, have been on a tear recently. "74 laps completed in the California 500 presented by Napa. The leader is Jeff Gordon.
In America, there exists a sport that is driven by the fans. They are why everyone works so hard, on the teams and at the tracks, in front of the grandstands and behind the scenes, to give the fans the greatest race possible. NASCAR fans deserve the best, starting from the high banks of Daytona, all the way to the shores of California, and at every race in between. NASCAR fans, you're the reason for our success. Thanks.
I believe in the power of the beer vendor. That one man with one beer born in the Rockies can refresh thousands. I believe in the perfect pour. Frost Brewing. Cold beer, warm heart. I believe that the 3 most important words on earth are hay, beer, man. That if a vendor can't get you your Coors Light at its ultimate refreshment level, it's a darn shame. And I believe in comfortable shoes.
Where do the best drivers go to get a head start?
Morning, Jeremy.
Morning, Jeff. Kmart, because our car care department stocks only the most performance-driven batteries around, like the new Excite NASCAR Select. The battery Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Burton use in their race cars. The same one Mark Martin and 21 other teams put in their cars. So if you want the official battery of NASCAR in your car, you better get into your nearest Kmart. Chances are, there's one just around the corner. NASCAR Performance. Kmart low prices.
Napa, sponsor of NASCAR Truck Series champion Ron Hornaday, really knows how to put parts to the test. And now, Napa has the battery tough enough to be called the official battery of NASCAR. Introducing the Napa NASCAR Select. It's specially built to survive the extreme heat and vibration of professional racing. So it performs well during the race and after the race. The Napa NASCAR Select, available at over 6,200 Napa Auto Parts stores.
Today, there are more than 14 million places throughout the world where you can buy almost anything without cash, without checks. Because today, there are better ways to pay. Gold cards, platinum cards, debit cards, and corporate cards from MasterCard. MasterCard, the future of money.
What you think about him. What he thinks about you. An all-new ABC special, Polar Bears Arctic Terror, ABC Monday.
Back in California Speedway, Rusty Wallace already in and out. Here's Jeff Gordon on pit road, right and left side tires. Trouble with the left rear. Now the car is down and away. They made an adjustment in the right rear. Kenny Schrader is in. Wally Dollenbach is in. And Bill Weber is there.
And Wally Dollenbach had trouble with the right front. They had the right rear on, and they had trouble with the right front. Had to take the jacks back around to the right side. Now they swing around to the left side. A 4 tires drop. Plenty of fuel already in for Wally Dollenbach, but an extremely long pit stop is going to hurt his chances here in California. Now they're waiting to clear the grill, and he's away. Jackaroo.
Well, Dale Jarrett now pulls onto pit road for service from his team. They are going to the outside tires, taking on 22 gallons of fuel. We'll look to see if they're going to make any changes on the car. They're going to go for 4 tires all the way around. In the meantime, Dale Earnhardt pulls right beyond him, and he goes to work with his Larry McReynolds-led team. Let's see if they elect to go for 4 or for just 2. They continue to work on Dale Jarrett's car. They're done, but they're still having a problem on the right front. They finish their work. And Terry Labonte goes by and Dale Jarrett, but meanwhile, they're going to change 4 tires on Dale Earnhardt's car as well. This is a car close for both these cars. They pull away in 19 seconds even. So the only car we've yet to see in the front runner is Mark Martin. He's scheduled to come in the next lap.
Riding with him as several others come down now. Jeremy Mayfield is on pit road. So is Johnny Vincent. And now Mark Martin enters pit road. So the leader coming in, Jack Aruni's headed toward you.
And Bob Jenkins, what they want to do to try and solve that loose condition is they're going to work on the track bar. So watch for one of the crew members to take the track bar adjuster, stick it down through the windshield, and make the adjustment. Boy, Martin comes in hot. Almost misses the stop, but gets on the brake hard. Now there you go. The man on the outside is stuck to the wrench in. Makes it just 1, 2, 3 turns on the track bar. They're going to go with 4 tires as well. Let's go to Jerry.
They make a track bar adjustment on Ernie Irvin's right rear, but they also gave him a hose to ventilate the driver who doesn't have a forking scoop. Martin is gone. Left side tires now going on Ernie Irvin's car. They get it full of fuel, and he turns the tires and he heads back to turn 1.
Bobby Labonte comes in, and so does Jimmy Spencer. The 23 car was in the lead, but gave it up to make the pit stop. And here comes Jimmy Spencer. Jerry?
And Jimmy Spencer brings the Travis Carter Ford Thunderbird down pit road very deliberately, 65 miles an hour. Right side tires. They're cleaning the windshield. Got to get it full of fuel. These guys want to go 50 laps. Ernie Irvin just went 50 laps, as did Dale Jarrett a moment ago. Now left side tires on the car number 23 of Jimmy Spencer. Left front, left rear, second can of fuel in. No chassis adjustment whatsoever on the car, and Spencer is down, puts it back in gear, and drives away.
Also coming out of the pits just ahead of Spencer, the 71 car of Dave Marcus. The 25 car of Ricky Grace is shown as the leader of the race.
He has not hit it yet, Bob. There's Schrader right in front of him, almost a lap down. And we see the 23 car, Spencer, coming back out. He, in fact, will be allowed down the leader. And that's critical in case the caution flag were to wave right now. Let's see what Craven's going to be able to do with the Warren tires. And here he comes down pit road.
Well, he was on those worn tires and still able to pass some cars, but now he slows it down to the speed limit on pit road of 65 miles an hour. And Craven comes in for his pit stop, and that will take care of the drivers that have come in. We cycle back to Jeff Gordon. Here's Jack.
Well, Bob, Ricky Craven, it looks as if they're going to put a rubber in the car. If they go to work, he's going to go in the right rear. Now, remember, they're underneath all of these crew members' fire suits is a T-shirt that says "On a Mission." They want to give Ricky Craven his first victory ever. They're working now, finishing the work. They're only going to go with the right front tires. He's off and away in 15.8 seconds.
A great stop, but we saw only 2 tires, and the rear guy had a little problem on that right rear tire.
Craven builds up to speed as he goes off of corner number 2 down the backstretch. Well, Jeff Gordon made a sudden move off of the racetrack onto pit road, and we're going to show you that.
Watch this, folks, as Jeff Gordon decides to come to pit. Watch when he hits the apron. Almost spun out, and he's got to slam on the brakes right now. That's when they start measuring the speed. Those white lines, it's a NASCAR type system. He has to be at about a 60-mile-per-hour speed, and how fast he had to slam the brakes on to do that. But by coming in the pits that fast, he has gained a 6-second lead on Mark Martin.
So Gordon is first, Mark Martin is second, Ernie Irvin third, followed by Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett. Those are your top 5 at the moment. Well, Saturday here on ABC Sports at 3:30 Eastern and 2:30 Central Time. The next stop on the Women's Professional Volleyball Association Tour, the Evian Open from Atlantic City, New Jersey. And then Saturday at 4:30 Eastern and Pacific, 3:30 Central, ABC's Wide World of Sports presents the Valvoline Professional Boxing Series from November 1996. Take a look back at the heavyweight championship bout featuring Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson. Plus the Advil Mini Marathon from New York City. That's Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports. 71,000 plus spectators have enjoyed the race so far with 86 laps to go. Major League Stock Car Racing NASCAR style is back in Southern California. There are the top 5 with 86 of 250 laps completed. Back in a moment.
I get my license next month. When I was a kid, I figured that there was no way that thing was going to be around when I turned 16. I wanted it to die so bad. It broke down a couple times, and I was like, yes! But Dad would go to Napa, get whatever 1970s parts he needed, and boom, that leisure suit on wheels would be back on the road again. He made me a deal last week.
Get straight A's, and you can drive your mom's car.
Thanks, Napa. Somebody make it stop.
Keep your classic clean inside and out with Napa Silver oil filters as low as $1.99.
McDonald's is celebrating the excitement of Hercules. Hercules. Right now at McDonald's, you can get a Herculean-sized burger, a big, beefy triple cheeseburger to welcome Disney's Hercules. It's big, it's tasty, it's cheesy. Try a triple cheeseburger with fries and a Coke and an extra value meal. It's a big meal to satisfy your big appetite.
Now that's more like it!
Hercules and the triple cheeseburger are at McDonald's, and people are really getting into it.
Hey, Mr. Wozniak.
Good afternoon, Bobby.
There are 2 sides to every Monte Carlo. Monte Carlo. The side you show the world is up to you.
to the California 500 at the California Speedway in Fontana, California. Well, Kyle Petty was running so well. Things have gone all bad for him.
Just quit running. Coming up off 2.
He was in 14th position. You just heard him say that he felt the car just quit running.
That's get oil pressure.
Sit on the box. Try that and see if it runs.
That's been oil pressure. Said yes, it did. Just quit running off turn 2. And it's running now.
Yep. Kyle goes back into the chase, but it's 2 lines down. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, it's a 4.8-second lead for Jeff Gordon as he comes up on the 72nd car of Morgan Shepherd, who's in 27th position and puts him a lap down. Let's go to the pit area and Bill Weber.
And Hut Strickland has returned from the Infield Medical Center. Hut, you're okay?
Yeah, I think so. I never was okay, but yeah, I'm the best I can. You know, with I tell you, we hit the wall pretty hard with that Circuit City Ford today. It you know, felt like we had a good car. It just wasn't a good race for us today. We had some problems.
What happened, Hut?
Well, I don't know. We I guess about 2 or 3 laps before we actually crashed there, the car was getting a little bit loose, and I thought maybe I had an oil leak or something. But you know, can't seem to. You know, don't really know what happened, I guess you'd say, but, you know, it's just one of them deals. So, you know, we just have to go back and kind of do some research and find out what happened.
Okay, he gets ready for Daytona, the first time he has crashed out of a race this season.
And you saw Dale Jarrett take 4th position away from Ernie Irvin while we were talking to Huff, so Dale up to 4th.
And right now, he's about 9 seconds behind the leader of the race, Jeff Gordon.
So we have had 8 leaders and 11 lead changes so far. Jerry Punch, why did that pass just happen?
Well, we told you Ernie Irvin doesn't have a cool suit working. Well, during that pit stop, they put a hose in the window to try to ventilate some air into Ernie's helmet. But just about a lap and a half ago, Ernie radioed and said, hey, a piece of the windshield just came loose and it's hanging down right in front of my face, a part of the inside Lexan. He said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll get it. He reached up, drove with his left hand, reached up with his right hand, and jerked the piece of Lexan loose from where it was dangling. He said, guys, I got it. I took care of it.
I hope he threw it on the floorboard of the car rather than throwing it out the window.
Yeah, really.
Because he may run over it the next time by.
The 8 drivers that have led a lap so far: Gordon, Schrader, Dallenbach, Martin, Craven, Nemechek, Spencer, and Bodine. Jeff Gordon has led the most laps, of course, 68, and the 75 of Rick Mast is in trouble with some smoke pouring out of the back of the car.
Looks like certainly an engine problem on the 75 car, and caution flag is out. I guess NASCAR thinks there might be some oil on the racetrack, some fluid, because of that blown engine on Rick Mast rimming the car, so they have thrown the caution.
We just saw some green flag pit stops. That was just no more than 5-10 laps ago.
But they'll be back in to change 4 tires and make some of them badly needed adjustments.
Meanwhile, it provides the opportunity for the crowd to stand up and stretch its legs a little bit as the caution flag waves from the starter stand here at Fontana's California Speedway. Beautiful facility here. It used to be a steel mill. And boy, it's anything but that now. Beautiful, beautiful facility, providing a major stock car and auto racing facility for Southern California.
We saw Jeff Gordon racing with Jeremy Mayfield, the 37 car. Jeremy Mayfield able to keep in the lead lap. Big, that's a 2-mile break for him with this caution flag coming out.
And he's running in 26th position. So as we are now in this caution period, there are 26 cars on the lead lap. These overhead shots that you've been watching from our Pennzoil Copter Cam, providing an overall aerial view of this facility. We're located in that big red box that you see there, which hangs over the crowd.
And we see Rick Mast coasting down pit road. There's where Bob and I are, right in there. Hi, folks.
All right, Mast has gone to the garage area, and now we'll watch everybody come in for some more adjustments.
All the cars that have been lapped will need to stay on the racetrack. Cars lapped down cannot pit. We see the 31 car, Mike Schinner, coming in. That's against the rules. You'll just have to go to the end of the longest line. That's a penalty.
So pit road once again becomes very busy, but this time we are under caution. Jeff Gordon has found his pit stall. Here's Jerry.
Jeff Gordon said the car is very, very good. 4 tires and no changes. But Ernie Irvin would like some changes. You're watching Jeff Gordon there. Let's check in, Cal, with Jack Gordon in the Mark Martin pit.
Well, Jerry, Mark Martin's going to go up a round and a half on the track. That quick stop, only right side. Jeff Gordon's also away. And Burton is away.
Neil Garrett, Jimmy Spencer, Terry Labonte, Ricky Craven, all coming out now from their stops. There goes.
And Jeff Gordon's going to come out of this deal at about 12th to 15th, and Ernie Irvin is going to come out about 27th. Jerry, what happened?
They wanted to take a rubber out of the car, and they also wanted to come back up on the rear track bar, and they had a little bit of problem with the left rear. When they made an adjustment on the previous stop, they went down on the rear track bar to try to free the car up, but it made the car too loose getting in the corner. Now they came back in and raised the rear track bar, pulled the rubber out, and of course they had a problem with the left rear. They had to take a little bit extra time. In fact, one of the crew members got his hand right against the brake caliper and may have a burn, which we'll address in just a moment.
So a lot of drivers suffer from this pit stop. Ernie Irvin is back in the pack, and so is Jeff Gordon. So it'll be interesting to see if they can move up through the field once again when we go back to green. We are under caution here at California Speedway. We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This is the Coke that came with the cap, that got the special MasterCard, that got the cash, that bought the gas, that powered the car, that carried the boys to the place with the pool, that had the surprise, that changed the lives of both the guys that bought the Coke, that came with the cap, that got the special MasterCard, that got the cash. Got it? Now get the Coke.
Napa, sponsor of NASCAR Truck Series champion Ron Hornaday, really knows how to put parts to the test. And now, Napa has the battery tough enough to be called the official battery of NASCAR. Introducing the Napa NASCAR Select. It's specially built to survive the extreme heat and vibration of professional racing. So it performs well during the race and after the race. The Napa NASCAR Select, available at over 6,200 Napa Auto Parts stores.
This is the Coke that came in the case, that carried the special MasterCard, that got the cash, that bought the rod, that fought the fish, that found the spot, that made the day for the lucky guy that bought the Coke, that came in the case, that carried the special MasterCard, that got the cash. Got it? Now get the Coke.
Monday, an ABC network premiere event. In one moment, he lost everything. Now, science may get it back for him 30 years later.
I danced with Daddy last night. What do you want?
All I ever wanted, I had with you.
For anyone who believes in second chances, Peter Gallagher and Janine Garofalo in Late for Dinner, ABC Monday.
Can Ari Lyondike make it 3 in a row? Find out as the IRL heads for the mountains in the Colorado 200 next Sunday on ABC Sports.
Why wouldn't you want a free car?
Well, the shine could burn your retinas.
Think of the spiraling cost of plastic seat covers.
Pine tree fresheners, deforestation, you make the connection.
If you'd actually like a free car, enter the Enquirer's Great Car Giveaway. We're giving away 10 cars, $100,000 in cash, and a trip to anywhere. Get this Sunday's TV Week for your game card and a shot at 10 free cars, unless you have a problem with that.
3 words, canoodle wax poisoning.
You gotta get this Sunday's Enquirer.
Introducing fat-free Italian urban cheese. New from Hidden Valley.
Incredibly, Matchlight, the dependable one-match charcoal from Kingsford, is ready to cook on in just 15 minutes. So, the sooner you get Matchlight, the sooner you eat.
Choices, 11:35 tonight.
Back at the California Speedway, under caution because of some oil on the track put down by Rick Mast. Pit stops have been accomplished. The field is assembling behind the pace car. Well, this facility here at the California Speed was actually inspired by the Disney people in Disneyland and Disney World. So what do you do when you come to Southern California for the first time in 10 years? Well, you visit Disneyland and some of the other sites, and found a couple of race drivers there last Wednesday, namely Kyle Petty and wife Patty, and Bill Elliott along with his wife Cindy and son Chase. So what does a race driver do when he comes to Disneyland? Well, he races, or at least gets in a car for some sights.
What's Bill doing? Trying to find directions?
Intelligent members of the pit crew, of course, working with them. Gentlemen, start your engines, declared by who else? Mickey Mouse, and they were underway.
Looks like Minnie Mouse is leading this group.
Absolutely. Got about a 4-car length advantage as they head for turn number 1. Meanwhile, Goofy's trying to give Bill Elliott some wrong direction, but Bill knows where to go. The checkered flag comes out. Everybody's a winner here. Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Bill, and Kyle. And we ride along now with Bill Elliott, who has had his problems here this afternoon. He is back in 40th position, 6 laps down, and as you can see, he is headed once again for pit road.
Had a flat tire, and the tire did some damage to the brakes. Had to probably change the caliper, rotor.
Kyle Petty, meanwhile, has also had some problems here this afternoon. He's back in 37th. Bill, what was the problem there?
Well, it still is a problem, Bob. They are just simply down on power. Kyle had said he thought maybe they dropped a valve, so he came back in again under this caution. They went under the hood, couldn't find a problem, but clearly down on power. They sent him back out, but they don't expect that Hot Wheels car to last very long. Down to Jerry Punch.
All right, we told you that there was a problem with the Ernie Irvan pit stop. What they were trying to do was take a rubber out of the right rear, and we can show you basically on their camera that they have an overhead camera. We'll go ahead and roll it here and show you what happened during the pit stop. Now watch Ernie's car coming in. Now right back here, Raymond Fox, who will change the right rear tire, will come over the wall. Now watch as the guys come around changing the outside tires. Here comes Raymond right here. Now watch, he takes the tire off. He'll reach in with his right hand to grab the rubber, or his left hand rather, and as he does that, he burns his forearm on the brake rotor. Now he's burned. He got a first-degree burn on his right forearm trying, and finally tugs. He threw that rubber out. They put the left rear tire back on, and that's what caused, you see him holding his arm where he got the burns. He walks away. Apparently he's going to be okay, but that's what caused the extra time, was that problem on the left rear.
Don't you admire these guys that burn their arms and just keep on going like nothing happened?
Yep, just keep on going. Well, here is the pit stop.